Hi everyone. I'd like to talk to you about the recent leaked emails by WikiLeaks that claim that a US security contracting firm is in fact training Syrian insurgents on the Turkish side of the Syria-Turkey border. The security contracting firm is called SCG International, and it's run by a man named James F. Smith, who was in fact the director of Blackwater, which is another security contracting firm, as they're called them. In fact, they should be called mercenary corporations, and that is what I will call them from this point onwards, because I'd like to reclaim the language that would have us believe that these organizations are not vile and in any way they are legitimate when they are not. So, this company Blackwater was infamous for its actions in Iraq. In fact, it was so notorious for its war crimes that they had to change the name not once but twice. It's called, went from Blackwater to XE to Academy. And in fact, the Iraqi puppet regime was so embarrassed by the company's crimes that it was forced to ask them to leave the country. And later, many years later, they came back under a different name. Now, this Blackwater is run by a man named Eric Prince, who is in fact a self styled Knights Templar who thinks he is fighting the new Crusades. So it's not hard to imagine, with a man like that running the show, that his mercenary army turned out to be as vile as a mercenary army can be. So this Eric Prince since sold Blackwater supposedly, and now he's in UAE working on yet another criminal activity, I'm sure. So I'd like to just talk about the history of Blackwater, just to explain how vile their actions have been and the kind of people that we're dealing with. Recently, just 8 hours ago, Press TV and Harper's have released a video of Blackwater mercenaries, which was dated from 2006, in Iraq, running over women, running over cars, and firing indiscriminately at people. And this is not the first video that has come out of them committing these actions. And one of their more memorable crimes is in Missouri Square, where they indiscriminately fired at cars whose only crime was that they were in their way when they were driving at the wrong side of the road. And one of the first victims was a 20-year-old medical student by the name of Ahmed Hatham al-Rubai, and his mother. And when he was shot, his mother was told to leave the car by people who were trying to help, but she would not leave her son, and she too was shot. And the Blackwater mercenaries continued to fire at their car until it exploded, scorching their bodies inside. And of the dozens of people that were killed on that day, one of them was a 9-year-old boy who was in the back seat with 4 of his cousins. So that is mercenaries for you. They do not follow international law, and international law doesn't cover them either. So people complained many times about the way that Fallujahs treated Blackwater mercenaries' bodies after they were killed. But in fact, these mercenaries are the lowest of the low. Even international law does not care about them. They don't care about life. In fact, they do not deserve life. They act the way they do, not out of belief or ideology, but simply to make profit. They don't believe what they're doing is right. They're only doing it to make money. And this is the end game for all armies to be turned into corporate armies, private armies. That is the future that we're facing. And these corporate armies, they would not be able to survive without war. That these are the dogs of war. They need war. They need death in order to continue. And whilst I've grown to distrust WikiLeaks and, in particular, these emails for various reasons, I think anyone should be concerned about the prospect that these bloodthirsty criminals are, in any way, shape, or form, involved in their country. And the reason I find these reports interesting is because images have emerged of possible British intel or mercenaries training Syrian insurgents on the border. And the reason we believe that these people are British is because of their choice of weapons and their choice of armor. And if Syria's enemies confirm their use of these mercenary armies, that would be very much in line with the fact that they have now admitted to be monetarily funding these insurgent forces in Syria. Um, Clinton pledged a salary for these insurgents, and Britain also pledged £500,000. So it's not that they haven't been funding them before, but it's just that now they're admitting it. It's all out in the open. And these antagonisms towards Syria are just an attempt to instigate it into starting a war. And to that I say, be careful what you wish for.